All right. I am so excited that all of you are here and decided to join on this live workshop tonight. So I love having workshops. I don't usually have them at nighttime, but I decided to do this just because I know it fits into everyone's schedule a little bit better this way. So thank you for joining. Thank you for taking your time. If you're watching the replay, thank you for setting aside some time for this. I think it'll be extremely beneficial for you, especially if you are like I was a couple years ago, really struggling to find clients. You know that you have the capabilities, the skills, everything's set up and ready. Everything is set up and ready, but you just cannot land clients. You can't sign them. You may have one, but it's a smaller client, or you may have, a decent client. That's one, but like not enough to really sustain you to make this business really work for you the way that you want. So you really need to find the consistent clients and keep them coming back. And this workshop is all about that. This is some of the information that I wish I had when I first started. After I land my first client, it was kind of like crickets. I wasn't hearing much. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? I was following things that I had been told from the courses that I've taken to get everything set up, and it just wasn't working out for me. And I learned from being in this space that that wasn't really the best way to go about finding clients, which was my, at the time, my experience was sending emails completely cold, like out of the blue to businesses that I knew of, and trying to connect in DMs with businesses just out of the blue, like, hey, I really love your stuff, and then trying to pitch to them. And that's what I was taught to do starting out, and it just doesn't work. So I learned that that's not the way to go about it. And some of the tips that I'm going to share in this workshop are really going to be helpful. Those of you that are on the call and those of you that are watching the replay, stay until the end because I've got some really amazing stuff. Even if you're watching the replay, you're going to want to stay locked in till the end because it's just very exclusive stuff and it's time sensitive. So not only are you getting great information, but also there's some stuff for you at the end. So a little bit about me, if you don't know. First, before I get into this though, yes, it is a Google Doc. I did not spend time making Google Slides, and it's not because I don't care about you, and it's not because I don't care about this workshop. It's because the information here, the text, the words is most important. Me getting it to you and explaining it is most important. Making it fancy, that's not important. You are not hiring me as your graphic designer. You are listening to me for my content, my information, my skills, my tips. And when you hire me, that's what you're hiring me for as well, my expertise and my advice. So graphic design, yes, I can do that, but I didn't think it was worth spending that time doing that. I would rather try to get the word out about this workshop and make sure that this has full information that you need rather than does it look nice. Also, this is what you get as well. If you know anything about me, if you've been in my world, seen my workshops, seen my lives, my courses, I keep it simple. Other people will like put on a full suit for you and look nice and, make it look like they have this whole thing put together, this image, and that's fine. But that's not what I am daily. So that's not what I'm going to project on my lives and on my workshops, right? I'm not going to pretend to be somebody I'm not. This is what I do most of the time, comfy clothes, chill, because I'm a mom first. So being a mom is more important. I don't worry about what I look like most of the time. I worry about my clients, but more than that, I worry about my kids. So this is the vibe. And if that is something you're into, stick around. So a little bit about me though, professionally is I'm Carly-Ann. I started out as a teacher for 9 years, and now I help people like you grow their virtual assistant business so that you can work in your comfy clothes all the time too. And I was able to replace my teaching income just 3 months after I started my business, and I had consistent clients that I was working with for over a year, and I've still worked with them. I still work with them now, and yeah, I am landing clients very easily with some of the methods that I am going to talk about in this workshop. So today's plan for the workshop is go over some proven strategies that I have used to help land high paying clients that come back. And how to optimize your profiles, because that is an important step. Since we're doing everything online, it's virtual, your profiles online have to be top notch. Finding the right job postings and avoiding scams, because scams are very scary and I don't want you to fall into any of those traps. Red flags to watch out for when you're working with clients, because that can be very important too, because you don't want to spend your time working with clients who have red flags when you could be spending that time finding new clients that are soulmate clients. Also, you don't want to be worried and stressed out over these clients who have these red flags, because you could spend your time doing other things. And your red flags may not be somebody else's red flags, but overall, these are some of the red flags that I would say are generalized. And then lastly, we will wrap up with tools to help build really lasting relationships with your clients so that they come back month after month, year after year, because that is really how you scale. So first, you might be thinking, why aren't the clients showing up? Are people not hiring? What is happening? Where are these people? That is a common struggle. A lot of people struggle with that. They have it set up. The course or whatever that they buy says, like, you're going to make so much money, just set it up, and then leaves them high and dry with no extra steps. So you're relying on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, and some courses may even promote that you use those. I don't promote that. The reason why is because they're very low paying and they're like one-time gigs. It could evolve into more with whoever you're working with, but it doesn't have that guarantee. It's more just like, hey, let's do this one-time thing, do this for me right now, and that's it. You could evolve into more, possibly, but there's no guarantee there. And that's what does not lead to scaling your business. It does not lead to a sustainable business either, because it's very uncertain. So posting generic content or not posting at all, or not actively seeking out opportunities, just waiting for clients to appear. These are some other things that you might be doing right now without even knowing. So you might be posting very generic content, or you might be just avoiding that at all on your social platforms. That is something you don't want to do, because that is obviously not getting the word out there if you're not posting at all. And if you're posting generic content, it's just going to be a whisper in a sea of like people in a crowd. No one is going to hear that. No one's going to notice. And so you need to really stand out in the best way possible. And if you're just not actively doing anything and just think that they're going to come to you and find your account now that you've set it up, it doesn't happen that way. We would all love that, but it doesn't happen that way. Mindset shifts that you need is finding clients isn't a guessing game. It's not going to be like, I wonder if this will work. It's very strategic. There's strategy, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to get into it. And building long-term relationships is key to sustaining your business. So having one-off clients here and there and there and there isn't really going to make it work for you unless you're doing very huge projects where people are going to start to know you for that, like website building, setting up blogs, setting up one-time things that are very large, where when you do it well, you get a big lump sum, and then hopefully the word spreads. But other than that, most of the time, what we're offering our services are those monthly reoccurring services like social media management or general admin, where you're in their business every day. That kind of stuff, you need to build those relationships so that your client realizes how valuable you are and keeps you around. So first, we need to optimize your profiles, Instagram and Facebook pages for sure. So you need to make sure that you stand out and that you're not just posting and ghosting, like, oh, I'll just like put a post here or there and then I'm done. I'll never come back to it. You need to keep it active. Otherwise, it looks like you're not in business anymore, because so many businesses just stop. So many people just stop and quit their business. So if you're not actively posting and active, like with comments and engagement, they're going to think that you're one of those people that just called it quits. So you have to be very active. And also, we need to make sure your bio is clear and focused on the client, not just focused on you. So who you help and how you help them. An example could be, I help small business owners manage their social media, email communication, and so they can focus on growth. This is a very basic, generalized sort of example, but it at least puts the keywords in there and it's at least clear of what you do. I would try to make this more personalized, put a little more personality into it, and really say exactly what you're doing to help them in the long run, what kind of benefits they're going to seek, not just that you help them with social media, but like I help you with social media so that you can focus on your business or something like that. Make it more about the benefit to them, not just here's what I do. It's here's what I do so that you can blank, blank, blank. And then obviously use a professional profile picture. It doesn't have to be something you went and got done, but just take time to take a professional looking photo for your profile picture instead of just using a selfie that you took in the bathroom, right? So make sure it is very professional looking, it's nice, it's clean, it's clear, and then also be cohesive with your branding. That doesn't mean that you have to have a whole brand kit done. It just means if you're going to use the same colors over and over again, make sure to stay consistent with that. The same fonts over and over again. Don't try to switch them up all the time because if you do that, if people are just seeing your posts one off, they're not going to make that connection anymore. Because when people see colors and fonts together combined, they should immediately think of certain brands and certain people. I know I do when I scroll through Instagram, I see certain fonts and colors together, and I'm like, oh, I know who that is. I know who posted that, like those big names. You want to keep that in mind too, because people still do that for smaller name accounts. So keep that in your head when you're posting things and making content. This is definitely a first step to tracking clients. When they land on your page, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, this should be some of the things that they see. A clear I help statement, exactly what you do, how you do it, and then nice profile picture, and your branding should be fairly cohesive. Next is LinkedIn. I don't use LinkedIn a lot. Some people do. The reason that I stray away from LinkedIn is because that's just not where my ideal client lives. And I go into this further in the courses that I provided, things like that. But LinkedIn to me is more bigger corporations and companies, those businesses that have, 10 plus employees, maybe, not your small entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. My ideal client for VA work is more solopreneurs, those people who are, working on their own, maybe with one other person, maybe like one other VA, possibly. They're just doing it on their own. That's the people that I like to work with because it's very personable, it's one-on-one. I like that best. So I don't use LinkedIn, but if you want more of those bigger companies, bigger businesses, then LinkedIn might be your spot. So you want to tailor your profile to highlight the skills that you have. So go through all the steps. It literally guides you through on how to set up your profile and redo and edit. I've done it plenty of times, but you want to make sure you're using the correct keywords that are going to help get your clients in. I changed my profile once for Instagram management. I changed it from that to Instagram coach because that's where I was pivoting at the moment. And then I changed it to marketing strategist. And in that time that I had it for Instagram coach, I got someone, a recruiter that reached out to me for an Instagram coach position. So just changing little things like that can really help overall. So make sure whatever it is that you are providing is in there in your LinkedIn profile. Some action steps that you can take from here is update your bios, all of them today, and reflect on the services you offer. So make sure your bios reflect the services that you're actually offering to people. They should have those keywords. Those are so important, having the keywords in your bios. And then share one post introducing yourself and share another post that is about your services this week. So those are some other actionable steps that can really be helpful for you. So write that down in your notebook, write it down on a sticky note right now, make a little note in your phone that that is what you should be doing this week. Everything that I put out, all of my courses, my coaching is all about actionable steps. Even my mini trainings that I do in my Facebook group, everything includes actionable steps. So this is no different. Make sure you're sharing a post that is about you personally. That is your unique positioning. It sets you apart from other VAs out there, other social media managers, whatever it is that you're niching to. It sets you apart. And you need to have that. So sharing a more personal post is great. And then, of course, you want to share a post that highlights your services as well. What that looks like, I go more into that in my courses and stuff. So if you're wondering, stick around. Then the other thing you can do is put out there a post, connect with people in the DMs that you already have a relationship with, somehow connect with other business owners about doing market research calls. These are so great. I have gotten a client or two from market research calls. So they are just calls that you're setting up and you tell people, I'm just doing market research. And you are just doing market research and you're asking them questions about themselves, their struggles, people that you think are ideal clients. You connect with them, ask them these questions on a call, and then once they open up to you about what they're struggling with, you give them some value back and say, okay, I hear you. These are some of your struggles. These are some quick solutions that you can do today. And then give them that, explain it to them. And then you tell them a little bit about what you do as you weave that in. You talk about, okay, well, this is what I do. I'm a social media manager. I do yada, yada, yada for clients. Here are some suggestions that I would give you for your social media moving forward based on what you're struggling with. Tell them that. And then say, if you need any help with this, let me know. I do have packages. I do have some space currently for another client this month. So if you do need help, let me know. And then, you can connect somehow, either on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, somehow swap account information so that you guys stay in touch because they will remember the value that you gave them. And hopefully they'll come back around. If not, they'll at least support you because I've had plenty of people who have not become clients of mine. They have been huge supporters of my business since I've done market research calls with them. So keep that in mind. Don't brush this off as nothing. It can be super helpful, even if it's just for market research, because it helps you really get clear with your messaging and your offers on what your people really are looking for and what they need. All right, where to find clients. So job opportunities, we love when people post job opportunities and they're like, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. However, it can be a little disheartening or stressful because sometimes they post those and then you are looking at the comments and you're like, oh my gosh, this has 50 comments on it about how this person needs help with a virtual assistant. How am I going to stand out? What am I going to do here? And that is the problem there. It's great when someone just says, I need help because it's very clear. It's like, there's no like dancing around it. But then you're left with this idea of, okay, now what? Now what do I do that there's all these people answering back? So you will find these posts in Facebook groups most of the time. And you need to add value by answering questions and offering advice in those general posts. So in those posts where people are not just saying, I need a VA, if they're just saying like, oh, I'm really struggling with Kajabi, like I don't really understand the best way to organize, blah, 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 like they're asking for advice. You stick your advice in there. Do not say anything like, oh, hi, this is what I do. Like I help people specifically with Kajabi. I would love to help you. Don't put that because they didn't ask for, hey, I'm looking for a VA for Kajabi. They didn't say that. They said, hey, I'm looking for help. What would you do? How do I make this better? They're asking a specific question. They're looking for advice. Give them that advice. But you can also stick in that you're a VA, but give them that advice. Say, hey, I'm a VA who specifically works with Kajabi for clients. This is what I do for my clients. And then explain to them the answer to their question. Okay. And that lets them know, oh, cool. They gave me the value I needed. That's exactly what I was looking for. And it also lets them know, oh, this person does that. This is what they do. Like they're just not somebody else who also uses Kajabi. They're somebody who actually helps people with Kajabi. That puts it in their head that, or if other people are looking in the comments, even, because sometimes people look in the comments, they're like, I have that same problem. Oh my gosh, what are people saying? And they see that, maybe they'll be willing to hire you instead of the original poster, you know? So that is where you've got to be thinking like your ideal client. What would they want? And how can you, almost sneak in what you do while also adding value? That is one of my like strategic approaches when it comes to Facebook groups. Also, there is a freebie of mine, which is the 50 Facebook groups, 50 plus Facebook groups for networking. So if you feel like this is relevant to you, make sure you ask me for the link and I can get you that link. Instagram, you're going to engage with potential clients in their stories and their comments. So you want to constantly be engaging, building that relationship, engage with their content. But you don't want to always say like, oh my gosh, this is a problem of mine, if they're talking about their business and what they do, because then they're going to think that you are an ideal client for them. So instead, when you are engaging on Instagram with these potential clients, look for those posts, those stories, anything that they are talking about, something personal. So anything that has to do, if their dog is in the video or if they are talking about their kids or something, focus on that part of their content. Don't focus on the business aspect of their content necessarily. That way it's more of a personal connection rather than a business connection, because we don't want them thinking that you are interested in their business as like a consumer. We want more of a person to person, business to business kind of connection, So I always look for those kind of posts instead of just commenting whatever on their posts, like just to, promote or, be nice and engage. I look specifically for posts that are more related to them personally. LinkedIn, like I said, this is not my jam. What I would do is search for job postings under relevant hashtags like virtual assistant needed or hiring VA. So look for things like that on LinkedIn. Best practices, always research the client and their business before pitching. So if you're going to actually pitch your services, like if you've gotten that far, make sure you've researched enough. This is especially important when you see those job postings on Facebook groups. So when people are actually saying, hey, I'm looking for a VA, or hey, I need help with blah, 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 and they're looking for someone, like it's a job opportunity, this is where you want to do your research. So make sure before you send an email or a DM, whatever they're asking for, because read the directions, right? You need to do your research. Look up the client, look up at their website, look at their Instagram, whatever they've got, look at it and get to know their business and the person so that you can tailor your response to that and include a lot of personal information about their business in your response. And obviously, personalize your message, make it specific so that you've done your homework, right? Because if you're just sending a skeleton template email to everybody who says, hey, I need a VA, and you're just putting like, hey, my name's Carly Ann, here are some of the things that I specialize in, boop, 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 like bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Let me know if you need help with this. Would love to contact and have a call. Here's my Calendly. Here's my portfolio. If you do that, that is nothing specific to them, their business, how you're going to help them specifically. So that is not something I would do at all because you're not going to hear back. It's going to be crickets if you do that. So make sure you do your homework and you personalize every email, not just a template. Okay? That's why you're not hearing anything back, probably. All right. Big thing, avoiding scams and the red flags. This is huge. So some common scams or, work for free for exposure. Don't do that. We don't work for free here, ever. If you're working for free or thinking about working for free, you need to rethink that, honestly. And I talk a lot about that in some of the mini trainings that I've posted in my Facebook group, but also I talk about it in some of my courses, why I wouldn't work for free. But if it says anything about working for free, don't go for it. Clients who ask for personal information or payment upfront. You should not have to pay for anything for your clients. Your client should always pay for you. So even if they want you to use a certain platform, if they want you to use that, they should have an account or they should pay for your account. Um, if it's overly vague job description with no clear deliverables. So if it's just kind of like VA needed, working 10 hours a week for $500. They're going to pay you $500 a week for 10 hours of work. That's a huge red flag to me because that's a scam. If it seems like a little bit of work for a lot of money, I know that seems tempting and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I need that. Like, what if this could be true? What if this really is something? It's not. I'm telling you, it's not. There are high paying clients out there. There are business owners that are willing to pay you your value, but not like that. Not in that kind of way where people are just going to pay a VA for general tasks, quick tasks, and they're going to pay like $50 an hour for it. Most likely not. So be aware of that. Don't get sucked in because it looks good. Other red flags to watch out for are poor communication during the hiring process. So if you are trying to connect with a business owner and it's constantly back and forth, back and forth. Oh, here's my Calendly link. Oh, I'm busy that time. Can you send me another link or can we book another one? I'm going to have to, reschedule all of that. If you're doing a lot of that, that could be a red flag because one, they would make time for you if you are that important to their business and that important to them. And two, if they're having that much trouble organizing their business, it does not mean, oh, they need me. They need me to organize their business. No, it means they can't even keep it together. And if they can't even keep it together, it's going to be hard for them to help you keep it together because they need to be able to have their stuff organized enough for you to keep track and start organizing it. Right. So don't get that twisted. Unrealistic expectation or rates, which is what I just talked about. So if they are saying like, they're going to pay you 50 plus dollars an hour for general VA work, probably not. It's going to be more of a specialized sort of service if it's going to be $50 or more an hour. So if they're saying that outright, even in the job opportunity, like it's listed, that's a scam for sure. People are not going to just jump and say, I'm going to willingly pay $50 an hour for you to manage my inbox. No. And then clients who don't respect your boundaries, asking for work outside agreed hours, or if they're asking you to stretch your boundaries or stretch your timeline for things, that is not okay. You're a business owner. You have closing, like you have times that you're open and times that you're closed, just like anybody else. So if they're asking you to go beyond that, that's not a good sign. Also, an immediate red flag is if they are wanting you to take a PDF and make it into a Word document. I used to see that all the time, and I still do. It seems like, oh, I could do that. That's so quick. You just copy paste and blah, blah, blah. That's the scam. It's so easy that they know people are going to be like, yes, I can do that. And then along the way, they're going to ask you for bank information and things like that. And that's where you say no. Other scams that I found actually on Indeed for virtual assistant businesses when I first started out, they will ask you to get on a Telegram chat for an interview. It's not going to be face to face. It's not going to be a video call. They want a Telegram chat. If they do that, that's not good. You need to have a video chat one-on-one with the business owner. It needs to be a discovery call, all of that. And if they're not willing to do that, that is a red flag. It's probably a scam. Okay? So watch out for those. This is huge. This is definitely huge when you're trying to make your business work and you are just in scarcity mindset. You're like, I need this to work. I need to get any client I want. any client I can. Then you get into all this and you're like, I'll just take it. I'll do it. Don't fall for that, please. I don't want you to fall for that at all. So lastly, once you do sign clients and you don't see any of those red flags, everything's going well, we need to make sure that you're building long-term relationships and they stay around, because that's what leads to scalability, because you have those clients, they're set, they are consistent, they're reliable, and you can even up your rates with those clients as time goes on. And then you can add more clients because you have this consistency of these clients that stick around. So then you can spend some time finding new clients and not have to worry about the revolving door of clients. Because if you're constantly losing clients, maybe you're signing clients a lot, like you constantly get on discovery calls, they say yes, you sign them. But then a month or two later, they leave. There's a problem there still. So we don't want the revolving door. We don't want that. So this is how you get clients to stick around and stay for good. And that's why it matters, is because you don't want to be client hunting all the time. That allows you to increase your rates over time. So strategies to keep clients happy, because that's what it's all about. Keeping them happy, doing the work for them, but keeping your boundaries as well. Do not stretch your boundaries. We want to set clear expectations. So discuss your deliverables, your deadlines, communications that you like. How do you prefer to communicate? And do that upfront. I do that on onboarding, and that's something that I go into in some of my courses. So I right away say, here is what we're doing. It's in the contract what the deliverables will be, what they get from me per month. And then the deadlines, if I try to put those in the contract as well, so it's already set up. If not, we talk about it on onboarding, and I tell them like, okay, here's where I see myself getting these things done. And communication, I like to communicate through Slack. It's really easy, it's really quick. I don't have to give them my phone number, so we're still doing boundaries. And also, I can turn it off at certain points of the day, so I'm not getting notifications from them after I am done for the day. And it's just really quick and easy for them and for me. So we can chat back and forth all day long if we need to, if something's like happening, or, we just don't talk for a couple days and that's fine. So let's be really clear on your expectations. And if there's work you're doing doesn't have set deliverables all the time and deadlines, that's when communication throughout is super important. So when your client gives you a new task, a new project, say, okay, take a look at it, and then say, all right, I can get this to you probably within the next week, within the next 2 days, whatever. And I'll keep you updated. And keep them updated. And that will really help keep them happy. Be proactive, so anticipate their needs and offer solutions before they even ask. So after you work with a client for a while, you can pick up on the routines, the month to month, week to week kind of things and tasks that need to get done. And if your client slips in giving you some information that they usually do, that's when you can be proactive and say, hey, did you get the monthly PDF done? I really need that to start such and such, right? And then they say, oh yeah, and then they send it to you. They're going to love you for that because you kept up on that part of your task by asking them for something that they need to give you. Because they might not remember, they're getting bogged down with other things, but you know that that task needs to get done, so you need that from them. Doing little things like that is going to go a long way because it's just really going to help them know that you're on it, you're good, and they don't have to worry about it. If you didn't ask for that PDF and the time went by, task didn't get done, and then everything was behind, they would think like, oh, the task didn't get done, blah, blah, blah. And then they'd say something to you, and then you would feel bad, but then you'd feel like, oh, they're like getting on me for it. It would cause a whole thing. Whereas if you just stay on top of your stuff, streamlined, that's what they like to see. And then obviously check in regularly, monthly or bi-weekly updates to help build that trust and keep projects on task. So it depends on your communication style. It depends on your client's communication style. I've had clients that I work with that I absolutely love, and they will send me video chats, like video messages, weekly, just to say, hey, here's what's up in my world, here's what's going on, here's what I'm up to. Or they'll send me voice notes like daily. And it doesn't bother me because they're checking in with me, they're telling me what's going on, and then I'm able to respond back. I have other clients that send me messages just as needed because I stay up on my tasks. They send me things as needed, so we don't need the chit chat back and forth. So it just depends on how your client is and their needs, but it's always great, especially when starting out, to offer monthly video calls just to keep that communication open because you're learning each other a lot. So it's great to at least offer that. If they take you up on it, great. In the end, it's going to help. And if they don't, that's fine too. At least you offered. So if all of this is making sense to you and you're like, oh my gosh, this is some of the information I really have needed. This is what I've been missing, but I need more. This is your next step. It's Booked and Busy. It's my new course. A lot of what I've talked about in here, when I say it's in my course, I talk about it more in my course. It's this course. It's Booked and Busy. And this is your path to consistently landing clients. So I am so excited about this course because it's going to include so much, and it's like exactly what I needed when I was stuck not finding clients. I am putting together all of the information I've learned, everything, all the advice, and all of the tips and strategies that I've learned along the way that I still use today to land clients consistently. What this will include is pre-recorded lessons from me. I'll be dropping them as I get them out to you. And it will also include 2 live Q&A calls that are only exclusive to those that are in Booked and Busy. Because when you purchase any of my courses, when you invest in them, you are automatically put into our Rose All Day Slack channel, which I love because learning Slack, using it is so important when you have your own business like this, because like I said, it's great for client communication. So putting you in a Slack channel with a bunch of other people who do what you do, including myself, being able to learn the platform, use it, it's just great practice. I am in so many different Slack channels. So you will have that, and you'll also have access to weekly Q&A calls. But when you're in Booked and Busy, you get 2 exclusive calls that are just for like coaching calls and just for those that are in Busy. So these are only people who are looking to find clients, gain them, and keep them. So that's the only thing we'll be talking about in these calls. What's also included is, like I said, my strategies for client attraction. So my step-by-step, and that includes lots of templates that I'm going to be sharing with you, lots of worksheets, lots of things that are going to help you along the way to build and include lots of actionable steps. So it's not just busy work. I don't do that. But it's going to be things that help build authentic relationships, turn conversations into contracts. We love that. So also retention mastery. So what I was talking about with building those relationships with your clients and keeping them around, I'm going to be talking even more about that and what that looks like in real time with my clients, what I do for them step by step. If they say this, I do this kind of thing. And that's how I've kept clients for over a year. And then exclusive access to our community, like I said, in Slack with the weekly office hours for support. So you will get me on a video call weekly, no matter what course you're in. And then you will get 2 live calls when you're in Booked and Busy. And the reason why this works is because it's focused and there's absolutely no fluff involved. I don't do fluff. There is a course that I took to set up my virtual assistant business that had a whole lesson, 2 lessons on branding. What your color should look like, what that meant, fonts, font pairings, how to put it together, how to make a logo. That to me is not important. Okay. It's important in the long run once you have an established business, but not right away. So that's why in the VA starter kit, which is my, getting started course, I don't talk about that. We don't spend time with that. So none of my courses have fluff. It's everything you need to land clients consistently and Booked and Busy, and that's it. And you get live support from me. either in the Slack channel if you have a quick question, or in the Q&As, you can ask me then. And of course, real results. My strategies have helped me land 3 clients in just 1 week recently. So it's still working. It's still effective. And all because I have the confidence, preparation, and the connection. So that is what makes the difference. And here is a special offer just for you. So if you're live on the call, this is just for you. It is a pre-sale price. So Booked and Busy is currently on pre-sale because we don't start till January. And it's the pre-sale price of $77. Crazy, because this is going to be an all-out course. This is going to give you everything you need, complete roadmap. So the price at 77 is absolutely insane. But that is because it is in pre-sale. So get in it while you can. And this is the lowest price it will be. It's only available during this pre-sale. So get in now. And don't miss this opportunity for this roadmap for Booked and Busy. So now I am going to open it up for the Q&A. So you can ask anything about finding clients, building relationships. I'll check the chat. You can unmute. And like I said, you can talk about Booked and Busy. It's in pre-sale. It will increase to 111 very soon. And I am thinking the final price will be around 133 because of everything that's included. It's going to be a big course. And of course, you get 2 calls with me. Then also, if you jump in on pre-sale, and that's not just for this call, like if you decide in a week or so that you still want to get in Booked and Busy, you can get it for a little more than 77 because 77 is only for the people on the call. You still can get in on the exclusive coaching call. There will be 1 coaching call during December for those that get in during pre-sale. So that is for you only. Final actions, get Booked and Busy. And if you are still needing to set up your virtual assistant business, the VE Starter Kit is your next move. So let's start 2025 on the right track. I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm going to check the chat and I'm going to stop recording.